These are the venues, my friends, whether it's Dr. Oz or what have you. Frank Luntz says they do have their value. Frank, of course, follows this stuff very, very closely, knows the power of connecting in ways that are not traditional for candidates. How does this help either candidate, Frank?
It humanizes them. Go back to when Bill Clinton played the saxophone on the Arsenio Hall show, and that actually boosted him significantly among 18 to 29-year-olds. It's not traditional. People over age 60 don't like it, but in the end, the undecided and the swing voter, they're 18 to 34, and they love to see their candidates let their hair down.
And we tend to, when we look at debates, we tend to judge them differently. I'm not saying quite like this, but how they connect with us on an emotional, not just an intellectual level, right?
I've stopped asking the question, who won the debate? Because that's not really what matters. The question is, who moved you? Who connected with you?
Well, how did JFK out kind of EQ Richard Nixon? Because people who listened to it thought Nixon won. People who saw it thought Kennedy won.
Just look at the two of them. Who would you rather have a meal with? Who would you rather hang out with? Kennedy was not only attractive, but he came across as presidential. Nixon was sweating through the entire thing. And voters looked at the two of them and decided, this is the person that I wanted in my living room for the next 4 years.
That's interesting. So it's a tryout for the guy who is new to them or they don't know. In Kennedy's case, that was definitely in 1960. I want to fast forward, though, to Carter Reagan, because that was one and done, right? And all Reagan had to prove is that he could share the stage with the guy. Did it work?
It worked, and let me give you the statistics. On the night of that debate, Jimmy Carter had pulled ahead by 1 point in the Gallup polls. The debate was Thursday night. The election was the following Tuesday.
Wow.
Ronald Reagan won by 9 points. It was actually the single most impactful debate of our lives. And this one that's going to happen on September 26th, Neil, mark my words, 75 million people are going to watch. This thing is going to be a barn buster.
Let's go forward to George Bush and Al Gore. And a lot of people felt on substance Gore was winning, but on style Bush was. What does that mean?
It means that we don't necessarily vote on who's got the most facts, who knows the statistics. Even details are less important than the person that we agree with. The other thing that, if you remember in that first debate, Gore was sighing. He was complaining the whole time. Bush looked presidential. He carried himself in a strong, commanding demeanor. And the public just didn't want a whiner-in-chief. They wanted somebody who was tough.
All right, and it helps to have low expectations going in, if you can.
And I don't think anyone will have lower expectations than Donald Trump. So I think this debate will be closest to what happened in 2000 with Bush and Gore.
Fascinating. As you always are, Frank. Thank you very, very much. Frank Luntz.
Pleasure.